Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Brother Yehonatan here. Welcome back to Yehonatan's house. Shalom, Israel. I just want to touch in with y'all real quick. I want to apologize because I know, we ain't really been consistent with the uploading the content as of late. We definitely have hit one of our dry spells. Also want y'all to just keep in mind, we not YouTubers. Even though we on YouTube, I know that sounds a little crazy, a little off or whatever. But, we created this channel to kind of sort of somewhat be a ministry, just to be able to minister unto those who might be in need, also to uplift, to encourage, and to edify, those who need edification. But, it was never our purpose or our intent to just, to be like all the other YouTubers out there who constantly putting up content, and this definitely ain't our life. We definitely are real people and we have real lives, and things that kind of come before YouTube, you know what I'm saying? But I do apologize to, the ones, our subscribers who really, really rock with us. And I know some of y'all, not many, but some of y'all do, look forward to us uploading content and stuff like that. Honestly, for y'all, I would just advise y'all to email us, and just reach out to us and try to and build a connection with us outside of YouTube. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to wait for us to upload a video just to hear from us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we down to earth people, we real people. We try to be friendly. We friendly to our friends for sure. You know what I mean? So if you wanna connect with us and just be able to converse with us and stuff like that and keep up with us, then email us, and we'll reach back and maybe we could exchange numbers or something like that, and you'll be able to keep in contact with us, and you don't have to wait for us to upload a video. But anyway, I don't want to keep y'all too long. I do want to touch on a few things that I've been led to speak on, by the Spirit, through the Spirit. Just, things, just the current events and stuff that have been playing out and stuff like that, just brought a lot to my mind. The Most High, kind of just led me to speak on stuff a little bit. I know it's some people that have been waiting on part 2 of a video I did, the role of a biblical husband. I still may get to that, but tonight I want to speak on this topic. Y'all see the topic, what type of husband do you have? What type of husband do you have? Brothers, what type of wife do you have? Single brothers and sisters, what type of spouse do you desire? What type of spouse are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? Because we in the end times, right? We in the last days. We in the final hours, right? So, do you have an end time husband? Being that we in the end times, do you have an end times husband? Or do you have a husband who's still partying like it's, the year 2000? You know what I'm saying? Do you have a husband who is just, oblivious or whatever? What type of husband do you have? Do you have a husband who is carrying himself according to the times that we are living in? I don't watch the news. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch none of that. But I do keep up, with current events. I do have a couple apps on my phone. I can go and read a few articles and this, that, and the third. I do know what's going on in the world. Not just in America. Not just in my state. You know what I'm saying? But all across the world. I try to keep up with what's going on from what they call natural disasters, to to what's going on with war, so-called wars with these different countries, who beefing with who, you know what I mean? We read about chicken farms exploding, cow farms going up in flames, they sabotaging the food supply chain and all that type of stuff. I just try to keep up with what's going on in the world, you know what I'm saying? As of late, man, I've just been seeing so many articles, talking about, this whole transgender and gender neutral, and, they trying to implement this stuff. They trying to put this stuff in the school systems and all this other type of stuff, right? I recently just read an article about a teacher who was fired, sued, and forced to apologize because she approached her classroom with "Good morning, girls." Mind you, this is an all-girl school, right? And she she addressed her class first thing in the morning with "Good morning, girls." But I guess there was some students in the classrooms who didn't identify as girls, quote unquote girls, right? So she was fired, she was sued, and she was forced to apologize. But anyway, that ain't even what this video is about. What type of husband do you have? You know what I'm saying? Do you have an end times husband? Do you have an end times wife? And this is not to, make you second guess the person that you are with if you are currently with somebody, especially if you married. If you married, you married, period. Only thing you could do about it is, try to educate each other and make each other better and really just get each other on beat. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that everybody is equipped for what they need to be equipped for the times that's in front of us. If you're not married yet, then this video, this is to help you, make the right choices in whom, you try to partner up with, because honestly, man, the time for, being career driven, focused on your career, having success financially, materialistically, living your best life, traveling, going to see the world and all this other type of stuff, them days is come and gone, man. We ain't that the time for that is gone, man. The times that we living in now, is more for the building of families, right? Making our families stronger, getting our houses in order, training with our families to be able to survive, right? Having land security and food security, you know what I'm saying? For the survival of our families. That is the times that we living in, the things that we need to be focused on. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get studio time and, working on the next album or the next mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get a deal, trying to get signed, going and doing shows that you ain't even getting paid for. You know what I'm saying? And all this other type of stuff. The times for that is done with, man. Like I said, man, right now the time that we living in is time to just be really building, preparing, and providing for our families. And when I say that, it's not like in the times before. It ain't about, putting a roof over the heads and putting food on the table and stuff like that. Even though, yeah, we still got to do that. But it's a little bit more deeper and way more intricate now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's when I talk about food security, you know what I'm saying? Like we talking in terms of the fact that these people are trying to destroy the food supply. You dig? Like, how are you going to feed your family when eggs cost $15 a dozen? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to provide? How are you going to feed your family? How are you going to put food on the table when, Every time you go to Sam's for 3, 4, 5 months at a time, there is no rice. How you gonna feed your family when rice is a staple in the black home? You see what I'm saying? The price of beef has tripled. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna put food on the table? So it's deeper than that, man. And we thinking ahead, you know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to continue to be able to feed our families throughout this crisis, throughout this stuff that we're going to, the gas up and down like a damn seesaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like things was getting better. The price of gas was coming down. This time last year, gas was damn near $5, right? And then we seen gas get down under $3. You know, it was like in the high twos, $2.80-something, 90-something cents per gallon. Now, I seen gas just recently, like a couple weeks ago, shoot up like 40, 50 cents overnight. So, you know, it seemed like stuff be getting better only for, you know, it's like teetering. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff up and down like a seesaw. It ain't no security. And we need that security. So again, I ask, you know what I'm saying, like, what type of man do you have? You know what I'm saying? I had posted on one of my social media accounts recently. It didn't get much traction. Not a lot of people wanted to mess with it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody comment on it really or whatever. But I had asked the question, if the police punched your wife in the mouth, husbands, what you doing? What you gonna do? And that's a perfect question, like, especially for the topic of the night, what I'm speaking about. What type of husband do you have? It's a police officer. You know what I'm saying? It's a police officer. If he punched your wife in the mouth, what you doing? You know, a lot of women are concerned with whether or not the man loves them. Does he really love me? I wonder, does he truly really love me? Right? In Ephesians chapter 5, right, it said, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So Christ died for his bride, right? So we are expected to do the same for ours. So women, you asking yourself, did this man love you? The question is, will he die for you? A lot of men, a lot of these niggas won't even fight for their wife, let alone die for them. We hear that all the time. I ain't fighting over no woman. Most of these niggas won't even fight for you, let alone die for you. You hear what I'm saying? So what type of husband do you have? Do you have an end times husband, considering the fact that we in the end times? Do you have an end times husband? Is this man preparing for your household? Is this man preparing for you and for the children that you have born for him, that you have bore for him? Is he preparing for y'all? Is he storing up? You know what I'm saying? Think about 2020 when the pandemic first broke out, right? They shut the country down. First time any of us have ever seen anything like that in these generations. We never seen nothing like that before. Ain't the first time that done happened in the world, in the world's history, but it's the first time that we've seen something like that in these generations. And you know, everything was shut down, right? They shut down the whole country. You couldn't go here, you couldn't go there. Only places you really could go to, you know, Florida would kind of lack. Wasn't nobody really going to work like that. Everything would carry out, you know, but for the most part, everything was shut down. And then you go to the grocery store, they had lines, right? They had lines. You had the social distance. It was like six feet. You know what I'm saying? and they had lines, and they was only letting so many people in the store at a time, right? And then you get in the store, it's shortages. It's still shortages today. I remember this time last year, they had shortages on formula. All praise to the Most High. My children are breastfed. My latest child was breastfed. We were still getting formula. I was able to store that up. I just recently gave that to another brother because he got a baby on the way. But a shortage on formula. It's still shortages going on. While everybody want to think that everything is, back to normal and things seem to be okay. Man, it's banks collapsing. I really don't even really want to get into all this and stuff like this, but what type of husband do you have? And so the reason why I asked the question is because I do have some precepts that I want to go over with y'all, and this is something that I don't normally do, which is read the word, on this channel, but we're gonna get it tonight. I want to go in 2nd Ezra chapter 15. 2nd Ezra is going to be found in the Apocrypha. If you have a 1611 version, a King James Bible, you can find it in there as well. 2nd Ezra is one of 14 books that was removed from the Bible after the year 1611. Okay. Prior to that, it was included in the Bible. Okay. But they removed it. Right. Okay. So 2nd Ezra chapter 15, we want to start at verse 18. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 14. Okay. Verse 14, 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14, and it reads, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Verse 17. "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Men shall be afraid. What type of man do you have? What type of man do you have? Do you have a man that's going to be prepared for these times right here that's prophesied to come? The type of times that we just read about? Okay. Let me continue reading. We're going to jump down to, hold on, bear with me. I read verse 19. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Right? We just read in verse 16. It says it's going to be sedition among men and invading one another. That means they're going to be going house to house. Right? You're going to have a group of men they're going to be clicked up. They're going to be going house to house, stealing, right? Taking people's stuff, taking people's victuals, right? Verse 19, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor and shall destroy their houses with the sword." They show us this all the time, you know what I'm saying, in these shows like The Walking Dead, you know what I mean, and all these other type of shows. What type of man do you have? Do you have a man that's a warrior? Do you have a warrior, or do you have a coward? We're gonna see. We're gonna see what type of man you have. We're gonna see, what a lot of these men are made of. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be able to see their substance. We're gonna see what type of men a lot of these men are made of, when these times come. And again, like, we're not far off. We're not far off from these times. And it's all good and everything is all laughing and kiki and stuff right now. But when these times pop off, a lot of women, unfortunately, they're gonna be able to see exactly what type of man they have. Do you have a warrior? Is your man really a king? Right? Cause that's just the lingo now. That's the talk, that everybody want to talk now. These women, they want my king, a king, calling their man king. Do you really have a king? Is your man a killer like David was? You dig? Speaking of David, let's get some more scriptures, man. Before we go to David, let's read up on Abraham. Let's go in Genesis chapter 14. Let's go in Genesis chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 8. Okay? Let's start at verse 8. Genesis 14, chapter 8, and it reads, "And there went out the king of Sodom and the king of Gomorrah and the king of Admah and the king of Zeboim and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim. And Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with the king and with title king of nations, and Amraphel, the king of Shinar, and Arioch, the king of Elazar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the king of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain, and they took all of the gods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way, and they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abraham, right? So they was together with Abraham. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, Lot, right? When he heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his townhouse, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all of the goods, and he also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people. Right? So Abraham, he was a warrior. He was a leader. He had men that followed him. Right? It said that all these men, they was confederate with him, not against him, but with him. That means it was together with him. He was a leader. He had men to follow him, and he was a warrior. He wasn't scared, right? We just read in 2nd Esdras, it said that men will be afraid, but Abraham was not afraid, right? He went and got his nephew and brought him back, along with the women and along with all the goods. Okay. So let's read about now let's go check up on King David, man. Let's see what David did. 1 Samuel chapter 30. Okay. I wanna read up on David. Let's see. First Samuel chapter 30. I'm going to start at the top because I want to get a little context. Okay. First Samuel chapter 30 at the top, and it reads, "And it came to pass, when David and his men were come to Ziklag, on the third day, that the Amalekites had invaded the south and Ziklag, and smitten Ziklag, and burned it with fire, and had taken the women captives." Right? The Amalekites did this. They invaded the south. And they had taken women captive. Verse 2, "And they had taken the women captives that were therein. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away and went their way. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captive." Verse 4, "Then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voices and wept until they had no more power to weep. And David's two wives were taken captives, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people were grieved, every man for his own son and for his daughter. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his Elohim." Verse 7, "And David said to Abiathar the priest, Ahimelech's son, I pray thee, bring me hither the ephod. And Abiathar brought thither the ephod to David. And David inquired at the Lord, saying, Shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered, Pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all." So, real quick, I'm gonna pause right there. I want to talk about this. You got a lot of people who feel like they don't got to do nothing. They don't got to lift a finger. All we got to do is put our trust and faith in the Most High, and God got us, right? Here, we just seen David counsel with the Most High, and get confirmation from the Most High on what he should do. He said, should I pursue these people? If I pursue them, am I going to have success? Am I going to have victory? The Most High said, yeah, go ahead, pursue them, and you're going to have success. You're going to have victory. So he does put his trust and his faith in the Most High, but he also got to put in that work, right? Faith without works is dead, right? What kind of man do you have? Okay. I'm going to read verse 8 again. "And David inquired at the Lord, saying, Shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered him, Pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail, recover all." Okay. So David went, he and the 600 men that were with him, and came to the brook of Besor, where those that were left behind stayed. So David, like Abraham, like his forefather Abraham, he was a leader. He had men that follow him. Okay. What type of man do you have? Is your man a leader, or is your man a follower? If your man is a follower, it ain't nothing wrong with that. But know what type of man you got. Know what type of man you dealing with. Is your man a leader, or is your man following another man? If your man is following another man, what type of man is the man that your man following, right? We know David was a godly man, right? So if you're going to follow a man, prayerfully he's a godly man, right? One that fear the Most High, one that's going to seek instruction from the Most High, like David just did here, right? All of us should be followers of Hamashiach, should be followers of the Messiah. Whether we leaders of men or followers of men, all of us should be followers of the Messiah. Okay. So I'm going to read again, verse 9. "So David went, he and the 600 men that were with him, and came to the brook of Besor, where those that were left behind stayed. But David pursued, he and 400 men, for 200 abode behind, which were so faint that they could not go over the brook of Besor. And they found an Egyptian in the field and brought him to David and gave him bread, and he did eat. And they made him drink water. Verse 12. And they gave him a piece of cake of figs and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him. He ate figs and raisins, and this made his spirit come to him again. Man, if y'all ain't growing grapes, and if y'all ain't got fig trees in y'all gardens, y'all need to get some. We got to pay attention to details, okay? I'm going to read that again, verse 12. And they gave him a piece of cake of figs. They gave him a piece of cake of figs and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him, for he had eaten no bread, drunk no water, 3 days, 3 nights. Verse 13. And David said unto him, to whom belongest thou? Whence art thou? And he said, I am a young man of Egypt, servant of Amalekite, and my master left me because 3 days agone I fell sick. Verse 14. We made an invasion upon the south of the Cherethites, and upon the coast which belongeth to Judah, and upon the south of Caleb, and we burned Ziklag with fire. And David said unto him, canst thou bring me down to this company? And he said, swear unto me by Yah that thou wilt neither kill me nor deliver me into the hands of my masters, and I will bring thee down to this company. And when he had brought him down, behold, they were spread abroad upon the earth, eating, drinking, dancing, right? That's what a lot of these men are doing today. That's what a lot of these women are doing today. Eating, drinking, dancing, while your enemy is upon you. Okay? I'll read that again. Verse 16. And when he had brought them down, behold, they were spread abroad upon all the face of the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, and being of all the great spoil that they had taken out of the land of the Philistines and out of the land of Judah. And David smote them from the twilight even unto the evening of the next day. Right? So for a whole day, from one evening until the other evening of the next day, David smote them, and there escaped not a man of them, save 400 young men, which rode upon camels and fled. And David recovered all of the Amalekites. David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his 2 wives. David rescued his 2 wives, right? Remember in verse 4, we read that David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice. I'm sorry, what verse was it? Verse 2. Verse 2 told us that they had taken women captives that were therein, and they slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away, and they went on their way. Okay. And then verse 5 also told us that David's 2 wives were taken captive. Ahinoam, the Jezreelite, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite. Okay. And then in verse 18, it just told us that David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his 2 wives. What type of husband do you have? Okay. We just read in 2nd Ezra that men, they're going to be afraid. A time is coming. A time is coming where men will be invading other men. They will be destroying houses. They're going to be going from house to house. Okay. And men will be afraid, right? A lot of women, you think that the man that you are laid next to, you think that the man that you are riding passenger to, you think that the man that you have given children to is going to protect you. I pray that is the case. I pray that is the case. If you have never seen your husband, get down on another man's ass, if you ain't never seen your husband check another man from being disrespectful, have to get down on another nigga ass, don't automatically assume that your husband is a killer like David was. You know what I mean? What type of man do you have? Know what type of man it is that you have. Okay. So man, we 35 minutes in now. You know, like I said, I didn't want to hold y'all too long. I just wanted to kind of touch on a few things, go over a couple of scriptures and whatnot. What type of man do you have? What type of husband do you have? What type of wife do you have? Brothers, do you have an end time wife? Right? Do you have a wife that understands your vision? Do you have a wife that understands why you make the decisions that you make? Why you do the things that you do? Do you have a wife that understands why you are trying to be conservative? Why you are trying to put back? Why you are trying to store up? Do you have a wife that understands why all of a sudden you want to grow a garden? You want to learn how to raise chickens and animals and stuff? Do you have a wife that understands why you bought land? Why you want to leave the city? Do you have a wife that understands why you bought her a firearm and why you are training her to use that firearm? Do your children understand? Does your children understand why you trying to teach them how to shoot firearms and this, that, and the third? Do you have an end times family? Do you have an end times wife? Or is your wife still trying to go sit up in somebody's salon and get her nails done and put on eyelashes and do all this vain stuff that ain't gonna do nothing but get her killed when it's all said and done? Do you have a wife? Do you have a husband who understands what it's gonna take to survive? Does your spouse appreciate all that you do to prepare for them, to ensure their survival? Do you have a spouse that appreciates that? Man, I pray that, that y'all are not unequally yoked. I pray that, I pray that all of Israel, the real Israel, that we find each other, so that we can look out for each other and we could, protect each other. And so that we can encourage each other and keep each other encouraged. All praises, all glory, all honor unto the Most High Yah, by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai, in the name of his only begotten Son. All praises and glory belongeth to him forever and ever. He is worthy to be praised. Hallelujah. And I thank y'all for checking me out. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, for those of y'all who really rock with us and, would like to, just build that bridge with us, y'all email us and, just link up, man. All praises to the Most High. Israel, man, I love y'all. Shalom, shalom to the next video. Shalom.